I've said this before and I will say it again. You are not the only coach that does what you do. You are not the only consultant that does what you do. And you're not the only professional service provider that does what you do. The goal of this video is to help you figure out how to stand out in a saturated market. How can you stand out as the amazing individual and business owner that you are? So today I have 4 tips for you to help you figure out, map out how you can connect with your clients in a way that only you are capable of doing. Okay, so the first tip is to niche down. This means to really hone in and get super detailed, super focused on who you help. The more that you're able to niche down, not only will your potential client feel understood and feel heard, but when you're creating content for this potential client, when you're building out your website for this potential client, you're going to know exactly what you should say and why you should say it. There's a huge difference between crafting a message to a woman who is, let's say, between 19 and 22 years old, as opposed to a woman who's maybe between 48 and 51 years old. They're dealing with totally different things. They may be into totally different things. And if you try to craft the same message to fit both of those women, your message is going to be confusing. If your potential client doesn't feel understood, doesn't feel heard, you may as well just be saying something to nobody. Because in this day and age, if you can't niche down and connect and be so clear about who you're talking to, you're gonna get stuck and it's gonna be so hard to continue forward connecting with your perfect clients. So tip number 1, niche down. Get super focused on who you help, how you help them, why you help them. Tip number 2 is to focus on customer service excellence. Seriously, I know how easy it is to go down the deep, dark rabbit hole of searching on Instagram for inspiration, and then it turns out to be a comparison game as to what everybody else is doing and what you're not doing, or going on the internet and just looking at all the amazing things that people are doing out there and thinking, I'm not doing that. I could never do that. How did they do this? How did they do that? It's a dark place to be, so stop doing that. Instead of focusing on what other people are doing, focus on your customer service. And I mean this not just like the typical responding to emails, being there when being there on time when your client expects you to be there. No, I'm talking about focusing on excellence. How can you create an experience for your client so that they know and they are confident that they are not going to get the same experience, the same treatment anywhere else? No matter what coach, consultant, or professional service provider they choose to work with, you are the only person that understands them and that serves them in the way that you do. So when you stop giving energy, focusing on what everybody else is doing, focus on providing an excellent customer service experience, you will stand out. Tip number 3 to stand out in a saturated market is oftentimes the one that a lot of coaches and consultants have a hard time with. And that is to invest, identify, and grow your personal brand. Highlight what makes you different and don't be afraid to showcase that. Now, if you are not a photographer, a creative, or somebody who's comfortable in front of the camera, which a lot of people are not, I can tell you from experience that I am not always comfortable, even though I do this often. But if you want to stand out, serve your clients the way that only you can serve them, you have got to identify and grow your personal brand. Now, you may be wondering, how and where are you supposed to start developing this wonderful personal brand of yours? Well, don't worry, you do not have to go at this alone. That is the reason why I put out this content. That is the reason why the Meraki Collective exists. I want to help you craft out your personal brand. I want to help you map out your website. So go ahead and send me a message. Let me know what you're working on. Where in the process of developing your personal brand do you feel the most stuck in? And if you're already confident in that area, and maybe you're working on maybe building a website, so getting the visual aspect of your personal brand squared away, and you don't know where to start, I can also help you with that. So send me a message. Let me know what you're working on, or visit themerakicollective.com where you'll find free resources, free training, and you can also look at our one-day intensives to see how we can help you take your personal brand ideas and give them a voice, bring them to life. The 4th tip to stand out no matter how saturated your industry is to connect with your clients, your potential clients, and your current clients on social media. So where do your people, where does your tribe like to be? Do they prefer Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest? Wherever that person is, because you should already know this because you've niched down. Wherever he or she likes to hang out online, that's where you need to be as well. And what are you supposed to do on these platforms once you show up? When you can focus on providing value, whether that's on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, you are basically sending out an open invitation to connect with you. When people connect with you, then they can build trust with you. And when that connection happens, even on social media, I know a lot of people don't think it's possible, but it is absolutely possible to do this on social media, then there can be a conversation. And when that happens, then you know you've connected with your potential client in a way that nobody else has been able to do. You're going to provide value for them. You're going to give them that invitation to have that conversation with you, and that trust will begin to grow. So those are my 4 tips for you, regardless of what industry you're in, whether you're a coach, a consultant, or a professional service provider, on how you can stand out in a saturated market. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you next time. And no, that doesn't make sense. That relationship, what? Okay.